Hello everyone, so today we have another game 8 of the rapid slow run, and after yesterday it feels that the slow run will really be a slow run because I was not able to win my game against a 1600 rated player, and there were moments where I was losing, there were moments where I was winning. So definitely learning e4, e5 will be with a little bit ups and downs going into 2000s, but this is part of learning process. I'm struggling with especially with the Italian game. I'm struggling to understand some of the nuances in between the certain lines, so I'm definitely going to study it more. But without further ado, let's go into the next game and see what's gonna happen. I'm hoping that I have enough time to play this game, so I'll need to whip some moves a little bit faster. So we are playing House Hosem Hash 1836. So rating way over ours, but they don't want to play us. So let's hit another player, see what happens. We are playing nearly 1700 rated player, Werner 56 from Colombia. Oh, it's Venezuela. Sorry about that. So our faithful opening, the Caro Kann, I've been so far destroying on lead chess on chess.com with this little alpha zero line. So I refuse to learn or look at the line until I lose one game, because this is one of the lines where nothing major should happen to me. I can force the bishop to trade, maybe. Or there could be some moves that could be really good for me, but okay. So black does not want to go into any trades and trying to keep the position solid with a solid pawn formation. So normally this would be fine. So I just want to check what's the development of the rest of their pieces going to be like. Without exchanging the queens, I don't know if this line is all that powerful for whites, but I feel like the main weapon of this opening is that black does not have the positions that they would like, which is to play against the d4 pawn. And here we go, knight to f6, hitting the pawn on e4, and that's fair play. My idea will be to eventually push the pawn onto e5, maybe. Right now I will just protect and develop, because one of my other ideas is to take here. But first I want to see what is black's plan. What are they planning to do? Where are they developing their pieces? That's the number one issue for me, just to figure out what is the black's plan. Knight to d7. So now I have the opportunity to kick the knight and send it all the way home. Which probably would be a good idea. The thing is, I need to also think, is this pawn here gonna become weakness? Also, by closing the position, then by closing the position. Black may eventually have enough time to reorganize the pieces, and I don't really want to play with the pawn on e5. Not just yet. That's what I want to stress right now. This bishop on g6 is going to look ridiculous at some point, but I need to decide how to develop my pieces here. e5 is a definite candidate move. Also not sure how to fight this pawn structure right now. Black's idea might also be to play e5 here. Okay, I think I'm going to accept the pawn structure with the e5 pawn. My idea will be to play rook e1. Did I just blunder it? No, I have this knight here. This is actually good for me because he's activating the worst piece that I have for me. And knight h5 does not feel like a move you should be even thinking about. Not at all. c5. Okay. I think this might have been a slight blunder. This might give me enough chances to potentially win the game quickly and then go and pick up my kids from school. That's how I view this now. Now, I guess opening the position now should not be a problem. I have one particular plan. If c takes d4, I'm going to hit the pawn structure straight away because I want to activate this bishop. And right now, because I castled and the opponent didn't, I don't even second guess myself here. I'm going to try and open that position as much as possible. So let's go and uncork this a little bit. Bishop g5, I believe, is the move. As you can see, the Caro Kann players, and maybe you are one of the Caro Kann players, they will always try their best to keep the position closed, because oftentimes they don't know how to play the open game. And this is one, I used to start with the Caro Kann myself. And this is one of my weaknesses, that I also don't know how to play open games. So the whole reason why I am learning the e4 openings with the idea of playing the modern way is that I actually do want to understand the openings a bit better. So now we have the chance, I have the chance to prevent them from castling, which is, if you can't achieve anything else, preventing the castling is like the number one thing that you should do whilst the queens are still on the board. But this is absolute basics, I'm sure most of you would know. King f8 is absolutely fine move. I think I can activate my knight. The reason for activating the knight, I have a nasty threat of knight d7 winning the queen. I can also play rook a1. That was another idea, winning the queen again. There's nothing that works here for black. Even move like g6, trying to get the king out. I play bishop h6, king g8, rook a1, and that pressure is relentless. So not only you lost the pawn, but you lost the rest of the. No, it's because he simply just dropped the knight on f6 for free. That c5 is inexplicable. Like, why would you play c5 here and not move the knight? The knight could go h5, could go g8. h5 I wouldn't recommend, and g8 gives you slightly passive position for Caro Kann player. Actually, that's the position you are looking for. So let's bring the rook into game and threaten some sort of nastiness here too. If I will be allowed, I will try and control the 7th rank as well. And I'm near certain that black would love the position to be slightly more open, but moreover, they would like this rook to be here. So, yeah. Then one of the issues as well is because there is this pawn on e4, developing naturally with knight f6 can pose the problems with some e5, and you can see how quickly he collapsed, even though obviously this was a blunder that most of you wouldn't do. So interesting would be actually if he takes here and I play there, and then he pushes to b2. Like, stopping this pawn would be impossible, but luckily this pawn structure of mine is solid. Knight e4 is nothing. Yeah, so the opponent resigns. So game 9 of our rapid. Let's give a good game. Werner 56. So this rapid slow run is picking up again. And bishop g4, bishop e2 is a nice new plan that black is having, but I don't trust in the bishop on g6 that to begin with. So this bishop will be out of the game, and if you have to trade the bishop for the knight, I think that should give me as well slight advantage. I might check this with the engine. Funny enough, I thought I blundered the pawn on e5 when he takes on f3, but the whole reason why I play knight e2 is so I can recapture with the knight, so no need to panic further. The knight has to now move, but because it didn't move, this I was looking at and I was feeling this is just not good. If I play here, for example, and they decide to attack the knight back, then I can just sacrifice the knight temporarily, bishop h5, and this should just play itself. Even though there is g6, but there could be queen to f3, king g7. Yeah, okay. So it's not at all simple yet, but maybe some like bishop g4 kind of move. Yeah, I feel like with the open king it could go really quickly down the toilet. So if knight g8 is played, then obviously, yeah, it's still a game. Black can try and put some pressure against the e5 pawn, but I think I'm much better developed already. I've developed 2 pieces into the game, controlling the center, even though perhaps just temporarily. So but it's still a game, and I don't think it's that easy to win. After c5, obviously, the game is already in trouble. So what I was thinking after cd4 here, that I'll play bishop g5 with the idea of bishop b5 check, and then driving the king into the center. So, for example, some move like this, and they lose the right to castle, and I still have plenty of time to recapture on d4. So even if move like a6 preventing the check, then I have knight to d4. But you could see that you could see in the game that I wasn't really that worried about black trying to keep the position closed, because my idea is just to break that pawn chain. So I was not even thinking about what I need to play or not need to play here. So I'll dismiss this. There's a timer because I need to pick up the kids from school. So after bishop e7, I kind of predicted if I was black, I would castle, but as I like to call it, this is no bueno, because I'm going to take on b5, winning another pawn, and it's still a game, but it's a game where I am up a piece. So I did predict that black is going to defend the pawn, and then I will have the opportunity to activate more pieces and maybe even make this king lose his right to castle. For example, if knight d7, I would be the one sacrificing a piece, because you cannot take on g5 for just a simple checkmate. And as Hikaru would say, it would be OO spaghettios. So after king f8, knight e5 is played anyway, because now the big threat is, I don't know, let's say if he played g6, I can take here, you cannot capture back for knight d7 check and winning the queen. Oh, yeah, the terrible arrows. So king f8, knight e5, king g8, rook a1, and resignation comes because it's really difficult to defend against all the possibilities that I might have in this position. You can perhaps play queen to f8, maybe, but it almost looks like after rook a8, bishop d8, move like knight to d7 is already, if this isn't decisive, then I don't know what is. It's actually black can still maybe pose some questions here, but I can just simply play queen c7 at some point. Yeah, knight e7 is maybe not the most accurate move to do this. Let's have a look at this again. I'm really, yeah, you can play actually queen to here. And if queen d7, bishop f6, we are threatening to take here anyway. We are threatening to take here. So if trade, oops, trade, we're gonna emerge a piece up, because after taking here, you take here, and it's game over. So yeah, I hope you are enjoying this speed run. Some of the openings may be less enjoyable, but I really believe in this alpha 0 line, and I will just need to check what to play against bishop g4. I believe bishop e2 and h3 is the right plan, and yeah, if the knight is on f6, the e5 looks correct as well. But I will double check that. I might let you know in the comments. All right, guys, you take care. I will see you in the next game.